Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Becoming with Kenny. Now, for today's episode, I want to talk about the moment that I realized that I was actually becoming the next generation of adults. Now, hear me out. For most of my life, I was always the youngest in the room, whether it was at family gatherings or whether I was at work in the workforce. I was always the youngest colleague. And you see, I want to talk about this today because I realized no one tells you or talks about when you just stop being and even feeling like one of the kids or youth of the family. You see, this is a gradual process. Adulthood in itself is gradual. There's no big ceremony or announcement, really. One day you simply notice that you've just been living it. And for me, I looked up and just realized that I was the new generation of adults. And it's such a weird observation to have because it's like I was talking about last week about understanding age and growth, not only from your perspective and how it relates to you, but how others in your life change as well and grow. If you haven't watched the previous episode, go back and listen to it. I think it really adds to this conversation. It was about basically how I said last week's episode was about basically how even though consciously you're aware that you're aging every single year because you have that significant moment, which is your birthday. But subconsciously, you're also sometimes tuned to the fact that the elders in your life are also aging every single year too. There's things that you might not have noticed, like the wrinkles, the gray hair, the doctor appointments, and things that didn't concern you before. You're realizing that you're seeing it as well. Now, for this episode, though, like I said, I want to talk about how you have this realization that you're now the next generation of adults. And for me, it honestly happened at a family event. It's very strange because you're no longer the little kid that's in school, primary school, secondary school, elementary, middle school, high school. You've been in quote unquote the real adult world, making a living for yourself for quite a few years. And you're surrounded by people. When you were growing up, you were always the youngest. And now they're letting you in to serious adult conversations. I feel like before you were often told, advised what to do. And now they're looking to you for your perspective as well. You get to add to the conversation. You get to now advise youth. And it's such an interesting position to be in because you still feel young. You still obviously know that you're young, but you're not at that childhood stage anymore. You're now the auntie or the uncle, oh gosh, of the group, which is very mind-blowing. And it's a part of becoming. You see, as the next generation of adults, you, like I said, might be advising the youth, those that are younger than you. You might be giving your perspective in adult conversations and the elders in your life, having more of a back and forth rather than I telling you what to do. That dynamic shift. You're making decisions without waiting for permission. It's empowering. And don't get me wrong, this episode is really just about that awareness and when that happens and just like the wow, sit back and taking it in because it's different, but it's empowering too. There's just so much complexity to that feeling. And there's also responsibility in it because whether we realize it or not, now we have someone, whether you have children of your own or younger family members or new additions to your family, whether you're an auntie, an uncle, to your friends' kids or your siblings' kids or your cousins' kids, literally any youth, honestly. But they look to you and your example that you're setting. And that comes with responsibility. It really does blow my mind how the cycle of life works and just being attuned and aware of it. Because now, that you're the next generation of adults, you're setting the example. Your actions are actually influencing others. So you need to be more thoughtful with your choices. It's just very interesting to me. It's very interesting to me. Even just speaking to my parents the other day, as a parent, you'll always be seen as their child in their eyes. But at the same time, they know you're an adult now. And it's so crazy because outside of just family life, other youth that's not family sees you as an adult. Because the moment they ask you when your birthday was, and you say you were born in the year 1990, whatever, they're like, ooh. It's so crazy. You're seen as old to them. Or even the fact that you're reflecting. The other day at work, I was reflecting on, in my day, I'm saying terms like that, we had it great. Our music was great. And these are things that elders in my life growing up used to say. And now I'm finding the fact that I'm saying that now. Or even talking to other younger kids and not really understanding their slang anymore. And I'm using slang that I knew when I grew up, and that's seen as old. It blows my mind because it feels like it was the other day. But high school, college, such a long time ago, middle school, elementary school, ooh, it's crazy. It's crazy in a good way. And like I said, this podcast is all about topics that doesn't necessarily get spoken about often, but is something that I think is important in your becoming and in your cycle of adulthood and of life and of growing. And a lot of these topics today really gives and adds perspective into your adulthood, whatever that looks like for you. And for me, when that observation came that I'm the next generation of adults, I had to sit back and I was like, wow, I've lived a lot. I still have many more years of living to do. But it was just an interesting perspective shift because I feel like becoming is complex. Maybe it's not just becoming your truest self or discovering who you are, but maybe it's also just becoming the kind of adult someone else can look up to. So, with that being said, here's your reflection for the week. When did you first realize that you were officially one of the adults? How has your perspective changed since then? And I'll leave you with this. One day, someone will remember you the way you remember the adults who shaped you. And maybe part of becoming is realizing that day has already begun. If you like this podcast episode, remember to follow, subscribe, and send me a fan mail. I love receiving them. If you have any additional questions, send them my way through the fan mail. Maybe I'll make that an additional topic for an upcoming episode. Or I'll give you a shout out at one of the next episodes and answer your question. And if you feel like someone would like this podcast episode, remember to share it with them. All right, until next time, bye.